Hello, everybody. Welcome to Go Cougs Afterthoughts. I am your host for today, Starnes Leland, the sports editor for the Cougar, and currently the boss right now. Um, again,
What do you
welcome
mean
to
currently the boss?
currently the boss. After this, you'll go back to being the boss.
Oh, okay. You look huge, by the way. I look so puny next to
Yeah,
you, but you look all swole up.
I'm currently in the comfort of my home.
I am not.
Um, but again, welcome to Go Cougs Afterthoughts, presented by Stuart J. Gus, Injury Lawyers. Cougars
Good
win
plug.
against Sam Houston State, 38-7. Came into this game sort of looking. Cougars were looking to sort of get back on the right track after two tough losses against Rice in double overtime, and then a really disappointing Big 12 opener against TCU. And in terms of get right games go, I think this will qualify as one. The offense had a good day. Parker Jenkins ran for 100 yards, got 3 touchdowns. He was the star today. Matthew
For sure.
Golden seemed to get on track. 9 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. The defense, after letting up a touchdown on the first drive, Sam Houston's first ever FBS touchdown, they shored up. Only let up, I believe, 80, almost only let up 95 yards the rest of the way.
And most of that's in garbage overtime or in fourth quarter, right?
Yeah. And so U of H comes out of this game feeling good, with some momentum heading into a road game against Texas Tech. Texas Tech sort of falling apart today. So you hope maybe this momentum will swing into that game as Texas Tech looks to find another quarterback, and they're 1-3. Some weird stuff did happen in this game with an odd ending to the first half. Uyale, his first 2 college throws. Players not being listed on the depth chart that came into the game for Sam Houston, as well as a scuffle, some turnovers, Ruben Unije puking his brains out. So some interesting stuff happened today. We're going to talk about it, me and Ryan. But first, here is our intro. Is that going to show?
I don't know.
I'm Stuart Gus, official personal injury attorney of U of H Athletics. As you know, a great quarterback wins championships. If you've been injured in an auto accident, big or small, you can trust Gus to quarterback your case.
Call 866-TRUST-GUS today. Principal Office, Houston, Texas.
Hello.
Hello. Ryan, first thing I want to talk about is the first series. U of H drives on the field pretty easily, then penalties sort of stalls it. A false start on I believe second or third down, and then precipitates a overthrow to Sam Brown in the end zone. They come up with 3 points, and then Sam Houston comes right back and scores a touchdown, aided by some U of H penalties, namely roughing the passer from David Ugwebu.
Yeah.
And then a pass interference on a trick play completion from the Sam Houston running back to the receiver, and that ended up precipitating a a touchdown run, I believe. So I just want, what were your first thoughts when that happened after that touchdown? What was your reaction there?
So the first drive, you had a little tempo to start it off. It was like, oh, trying something new this week. All right. And they started moving it down the field. And then once they started substituting, which gave Sam the right to substitute, and instead of snapping it at 22, you're snapping it at 6 or 7. It's a little different. You got down to the 1 yard line, third down. Unije jumps, and then you throw it too high, which forced Sam Brown out of the end zone. He didn't catch it anyways. But you got points, and you needed to come out fast. And even getting 3 for this team is coming out fast. The roughing the passer on the first defensive play was stupid. There was no reason for it. The pass interference down near the goal line, there was reason for that. I mean, he was going to catch that ball and stumble into the end zone. He did catch it, but you kept him out of the end zone, at least there. But the first 2 drives, so you go get 3, and then you give up 7. But you didn't give up anything else the rest of the game. Grant Gunnell, who has been at Arizona, well, he was at 2 high schools. He was at College Park in the Woodlands and then St. Pius, recruited by U of H. He was at Arizona, and he was at Memphis, and he was at North Texas, and now he's at Sam. Maybe one of the worst college quarterbacks you ever see. He was awful. Awful. After he made some plays on that first drive, they weren't great throws, but they were plays. And you thought, okay, maybe, but no. Terrible. And it was painful in the second half, just watching him go out there and knowing that U of H had to commit a penalty for them to start getting into momentum. U of H had 11 penalties in a game, which is right back to where you were last year. You had a couple that were declined. So, and then Sam, of course, had the 2 big ones on that scuffle, which I really didn't get to see. I was down kind of field level and missed it. I didn't see it, but I saw the flags flying. I saw the hats flying. And then U of H gets the ball back there and completely craps the bed at the end of the half. Had you gotten a score there, 3 points, 7 points, it doesn't matter, I think people would have felt good. But that was just, same old U of H. It didn't cost them. The game is never in doubt. But I'm going to say the highlight for me is Uyale takes the reins of the offense, throws a slant pass to Stacey Sneed, who was out wide, I believe, and goes the distance, 58 yards, which is impressive. And his throw when he was the trick play down at this end of the field, that he threw the ball and it should have been picked off by 2 different guys. That was not impressive, but his first drive was.
Yeah. Sam Houston State marched 83 yards that first drive. Rest of the half, I think it was 4 3-and-outs and then a fumble.
Yeah.
That fumble came with about 49 seconds left.
And how many snaps did U of H get off? 3?
In the whole game or what?
No, in that drive that went the 49 seconds.
Oh,
41 seconds. So they got
41 seconds.
They had 4 plays. They had an 18-yarder, and then the run, which people were groaning about, and then the pass that was broken up, and then that last play that was awful. But
yeah,
I mean, it sounds like we're complaining, and I mean, the scoreboard says they've already turned it off. It's 38-7. You can't be mad about it, but I'm sure there's going to be reasons why people are. Just looking at it, most of Donovan Smith's throws were underneath. He had in the entire game, so this was ULA and Donovan Smith, there were 17 throws behind the line of scrimmage, which is way more than you have seen to this
Yeah.
point. This is the offense you saw last year with Clayton Tune. We showed you that in the spray chart Thursday or whatever the hell day it was, Friday. But so 17 throws behind the line of scrimmage, another 18 throws within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage. So you're talking 27 throws within 10 yards. That's the passing game where I think you're going to have the most success. Going way down, deep downfield, you only did that 4 times. You hit 2 of them, or excuse me, 1 of them. You're just not going to have a lot of success there. Yeah,
Yeah. You could definitely see that they sort of shorten things up. They sort of spread out a little bit as well. Here's the question here: is U of H better than BYU and Air Force, or are they excrement?
Do you have a problem with that word there, Starnes? It's
No.
poop. It's not even a bad word. It's poop. I think
Yeah,
that's kind of a false dichotomy. You can be, I don't think you're as good as BYU. I think you're possibly better than Air Force. And it depends on what kind of poop we're talking about. So, good question,
Yeah.
but maybe not an answerable one. I think you're going to see Parker Jenkins be the starter going here on out. I don't think Tony Mathis played in the game. Dana said he was likely, he was good, but I don't think he played. Brandon Campbell played a little bit. Stacey Sneed played a good bit. But Parker Jenkins just stole the show. You just love the way he runs.
Oh yeah.
But when you have an abundance of talent compared to the opponent, you're going to look good. And the question is, you got to get through next week till you get your break. And if you can go to Lubbock and steal a win, they lost their quarterback for the year today. And if you can go and get that win and get to 3-2 and be 1-1 in the conference, you have to think. I mean, I know there's been some bad, but September's a success. If you can get 3 wins out of this month, that's what you thought your best case scenario was, right?
Yeah. It's just it's not the 3 wins you thought it would be.
Maybe. But if you get to 1-1 in the conference, West Virginia coming in on Thursday night. Now they've looked better, but they're still not any good. You should beat them at home. And then you go to Texas, maybe 2-1 in the league. And Texas is really good. But crazier things have happened, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
It's hard to really gauge the impact a game like this could have on a team like this, especially U of H, considering they seem to be all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
But just immediate reaction, the momentum just going into next week, going into Lubbock, is 100% on their side. They're coming off a win. They're much healthier.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is 1-3, had some bad losses, lost their quarterback for the year. Given how things went the last 2 weeks, U of H seems to be in much steadier ground now, and especially compared to their opponent.
I think so, for sure. But the team you played tonight was not good. And their defensive numbers in the first 2 weeks made it look like they were much better than they were. Their defense was not very impressive, especially coming off a bye week. During that bye week, they changed quarterbacks to Grant Gunnell, and no bueno.
Mm-hmm.
And so I expected a little bit more out of them this week. But you have to feel good, but it wasn't good. Donovan Smith still is kind of indecisive. Um, maybe he has too many reads. Maybe it needs to be streamlined. But I think that comes with more time with Dana, more time in the system. And I'm going to tell you who my low-key MVP of the week is, and that is Lucas Coley. Lucas got demoted or got moved past by UELA. By the way, 5 letters, 1 consonant in your name. How great is that? UELA.
Amazing.
But Lucas Coley was the biggest cheerleader on the sidelines today. He was pumping up Donovan Smith the entire game. He was pumping up UELA after he came off the field after that trick play throw, and then before he got in the game at quarterback. Coley is nothing but a great teammate and a guy that you want on your side. He might have gotten pushed to third string. Doesn't matter. You need guys like that. You especially need guys like that at quarterback. And, good for him. He's a real class guy. I got to spend about 45 minutes with him in the spring, just one-on-one. And I really came away impressed with him, just the kind of guy he is. And Jamal Morris got a start today, had a couple of big plays. Very happy for that guy. Saw him this week. Talked about his son. Really cool. Just his son, I believe, was here to see him start his first game, and I'm really happy for him on that. So Gunnell sucks. U of H hit the over by themselves. The over was 37.5. I was curious about that all week because, nobody thought U of H was going to score this many points, but people thought Sam Houston's defense was a little better than it was.
Didn't the line move 3 points in favor of Sam Houston State?
Yeah, it went from 14 down to 11 or 11.5. I think it bumped back to 12-ish. It was covered easily, but yeah, the money did move towards Sam during the week, and then the number came down.
Yeah. Should we go to ad?
Yeah, why not?
Questions.
Yeah.
I'm Stuart Gus, official personal injury attorney of U of H Athletics. As you know, a great quarterback wins championships. If you've been injured in an auto accident, big or small, you can trust Gus to quarterback your case.
Call 866-TRUST-GUS today. Principal office, Houston, Texas.
My first question to you, Ryan, is...
Yes. Ask me anything.
What's your favorite color? No.
Pistachio.
Did this seem... Pistachio?
Yeah.
Did this seem like a Big 12 team beating up on a Conference USA team? Now, I know both teams had different circumstances coming in, but on paper, did it seem like that going in? Or during the game, I mean?
Well, it doesn't feel right to call them a Conference USA team.
Yeah.
It's the disconnect there for me still is their FCS team and a WAC team and now Conference USA. Rice is Conference USA in my head, but now they're American. So, but it felt like what a team is supposed to do to an FCS team, right? You think you're going to score 60, but U of H kind of played it slow, and I guess it's what you're supposed to do. I guess it's what it looks like, but it truly is one of those games where you got right, you did the things you needed to do, but you still don't know what you have.
Yeah, you would say after that first drive, the defense played great, but like you said, that Sam Houston offense is
you're too young to know
disgusting.
this, but that was a Kim Helton offense is what we saw Sam run. It was awful. So my first question to you, where in your sports watching history, where do you put that puke? Like, is it top 5? because I didn't see it initially, but I have the ESPN Plus replay in front of me, and it's basically a half play slow.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" Because he was walking to the line, and bleh, and that surprised me. But then he played the play, and it may have been his best blocking work because nobody wanted to get close to him.
Yeah. I think that, and I think it's definitely up there. The volume was
It was a lot.
Pretty insane. Yeah, I guess it'd have to be up there. I can't. I'm trying to go through some of the notable ones. I remember seeing one of a high school quarterback puking right before throwing a game-winning touchdown. So I think that has to be number one.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I've experienced one in person. It was Kevin Cobb, 2003, in the tunnel at Michigan, and I was down in the tunnel on the field, and the guys come out. They're ready to come out. Michigan has that one tunnel at the 50-yard line. They're about to come out, and Art Briles is standing there in his long sleeves, and Kevin Cobb is right next to him, and Art is trying to talk to him, and Kevin just bleh. And that was surprising. And I was like, uh-oh. And it was 50-3, I think. So, uh-oh, indeed. Yeah, so, okay, that was my first question. What you got?
Did you see enough improvement in the offense for it to matter to you heading into the rest of the year? Like you said,
the run game is totally different with Parker Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
And you want to see him up against real competition. And if he's going to start at Tech, that's a whole different ball game, right? That's a rough environment. It's a road game, a Big 12 defense that'll be playing. You can say what you want, but the guys that he was up against were about his size. That's not going to happen in Lubbock. And so that's the part I want to see. I also want to see, does Donovan Smith come out with an agenda? Or does he come out timid, being back at Tech, nervous, whatever? That I'm really curious about. But I think you're going to see a different offense from week to week. And Dana likes to change the game plan and get cute with it instead of just finding something he can do and do it to death. And I would hope that you see building from what you had tonight. Like last week, you had nothing. You started from nothing. And we'll just see. What did you think, Starnes?
I think, and what you were saying about Parker Jenkins, I agree with. Going in against going up in Texas Tech is going to be totally different than going up against Sam Houston State. But I feel like we've seen this year, if it is sort of a harbinger of things to come, like this year in the few.
Hold on, this is not the kind of show that uses the word harbinger. Okay,
Sorry.
So you need to dumb it down. We all went to U of H, pal. Remember that.
But I think these first 3 weeks in the touches that he got, good things happened. Whether it was kickoff or on the run. And that was against TCU. That was also against Rice. He didn't have one in the first game, I don't believe.
Yeah.
But
and maybe the most impressive play to me that Parker Jenkins had today is he was in it back. He was to the right of Donovan Smith. And a guy comes off the edge and Jenkins gets a little contact with him, but really doesn't block him. And it forces Smith to kind of roll out to his left. But Parker Jenkins stayed with it. And he ended up hurling around and going back and getting enough of that incoming rusher to give Donovan Smith time to make the throw. And when you have freshman running backs and wide receivers, you worry the one thing is, will they block? Will they be a part of the offense when they're not getting the ball? And I think Dana may have mentioned this at some point, that his issue with Parker Jenkins was he's a freshman and he doesn't understand all the pickups and things like that. But on this one, he just showed grit and he showed determination, and that's the thing that I got most out of his day.
Yeah, I agree. I think when he's on the field, good things happen, and we'll see if that translates in Texas Tech. At Texas Tech, but I would say he will. Do you have any more questions?
So, in your office at the Daily Cougar, you have a little sign that says "Word of the Day,"
Yes.
and every time I go in and I don't go in a lot, but I've been in, and it changes because it's Word of the Day. What's your word of the day for this?
My word of the day for this.
Yeah,
Well, the first thing that comes to my head is vomit,
yeah,
but I don't.
yeah.
I don't think that sums up the game.
No,
It may sum up Sam Houston State's offense.
yeah.
But I'm not sure.
This is riveting. It's a
This
harbinger
is
of
great.
what is to come.
This is great content. I would say it's something. It's something to hang on to. It's something to hang on to as now they fully get on this Big 12 schedule. There were things there, particularly Parker Jenkins and some of how the offense went, that you could sort of hang on to. What is your word of the day for this?
All right. There's plenty to clean up in video, but there's some good things that happen, and a good coaching staff and a mature team can build from what just happened. It's all right. I mean, it's all right.
All right, and that was the word of the day.
Yep.
I don't know if that segment will come back.
Word of the day?
Yeah.
Well, you just need to be better at your answer. You got to be thinking about these things, Starnes. Was that the worst quarterback you've ever seen? And I'm talking about Grant Gunnell from Sam. It was not a good performance. And he has been in several time zones and has had opportunities at a Pac-12 school, and then an American school, and then a Conference USA school, and I guess a Conference USA school again. I think he still has not found his level.
Yeah, I guess not.
West Texas A&M or Commerce or somebody like that, they were at Old Dominion today and playing a pretty good game. Maybe that's his level, but this is not it. U of H could end up as the worst team in the Big 12, and he had no business being on the field with them.
Yeah. And apparently neither did their original starting quarterback. So
did he even get in the game?
He didn't. They had their gadget quarterback come in for
the third
for the touchdown.
Noah Smith. No, that ain't him. I don't know. Simeon Evans, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. So what else you got? Matthew Golden had 9 catches, and he didn't have a drop. I don't think he managed the game well. He had one where he missed it, but they ended up calling it back because of a hold. Manjak had a nice day. Sam Brown had his worst game of the year. The stats say Anthony Holmes Jr. caught a ball. Did I miss that?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, good for him if he did.
Yeah.
And Dalton Carnes caught one, and yeah.
Was it? I believe Matt Burns. Was it Matt Burns or Dalton Carnes who caught their first pass of the year?
Well, Carnes was in the game last week, maybe at Rice, and I don't think he had a catch. Um, but I wasn't listening, so I don't know what the television told you.
Ah. But
So
including Anthony Holmes Jr., that's 11 different receivers on the day.
okay, but I really don't think he caught a ball. I'm gonna just say that right now.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
that may have been Josh Cobbs did.
did you say Venmo? Oh,
No.
no.
Well, you can Venmo money if you want. Venmo me money
Yeah.
if you want. No, never mind.
Okay.
You had your two nieces come today.
Yes.
Yes, tell us about that.
Fantastic. Wow, you just had it ready to go. So it was their first game. They're young, at 4 and 1.5, and had the headphones, to keep the sound, and they had their pom poms ready to go. Sat in the club level, thanks to one of our subscribers. Had the club food, had a good time. The oldest one fell asleep in the second quarter. I don't know how, but she did. But then went down there and she was gunning. She was good to go. Had an awesome photo of her that will be a treasure for the rest of my life. Um, there's something special about sharing this with with your kids or your niece or nephew, and I am so excited that we got to do it. I thought it'd be a couple more years before they came, but they were here and they had a blast, and I'm just thankful we were able to have that opportunity together.
That's awesome. I talked about this 2 weeks ago when my brother was on the field at Rice,
Yeah.
and his son was there, and it was just great to see him there. He was interacting with other former teammates' kids and stuff like that. Tried to run on the field, all that fun stuff. So it's always great. I mean, kids that age to me are just hilarious, and I love interacting with them as much as I can.
They are pretty fucking funny. She's hilarious. So, yeah. I don't guess I have much more to talk about. I think the defense, I want to go watch the film and really look at what the defense did. Obviously, they did enough to shut these guys down. These guys were terrible. But you still have to do the job, right? And so you have to be happy. You're 2-2. And as bad as you looked for a half at Rice, and as bad as you looked for 4 quarters against TCU, I don't think anybody just assumed you would blow these guys out. And you did. And that's a win. And so I think you have to take it for what it was. It didn't change everything. It didn't change the season. But it was a win you needed, and you got it. And you got it comfortably. You got a lot of guys in at the end of the game. At virtually every position, I saw guys playing that I've never seen play. I don't think I've seen Demetrius Hunter play. Caden Bowie played today. Somebody else
Peyton
on the
Dunn.
offensive line.
Peyton
Peyton Dunn
Dunn
played
a lot.
last week. Yeah, he played last week. He got 2 holding calls today, so he's now officially a part of this offensive line. So, yeah. What were your final thoughts, your impressions before we wrap this up?
You took care of business. This was what you call a get right game, and from the looks of it, you did what qualified as a get right game. Now, whether they stay right next week, or in the Big 12, that's yet to be known. But they did what they were supposed to do, and if this team is going to succeed in the Big 12, then they're going to need to build off this going into next week, because a lot of things are in their favor other than the fact that they are going into Lubbock, which is a tough place to play. But the momentum, health-wise, it's in their favor. And it started with today.
Yeah, for sure. So that's afterthoughts. presented by Trust Gus. This is GoCougs.com. He's the Daily Cougar. We're doing things. We're both home game next week, right? You're staying. I'm staying. This is my one road trip I'm not making. Going to Kansas State and Baylor and Central Florida, maybe.
Yeah.
And then basketball. Basketball practice starts Wednesday. So we'll be having some Kelvin Sampson stuff pretty soon. And, we're about to get into it. But that's it for tonight. Quick show, easy show. Get home before midnight. I can't wait. Thanks, guys. And here we go.
I'm Stuart Gus, official personal injury attorney of U of H Athletics. As you know, a great quarterback wins championships. If you've been injured in an auto accident, big or small, you can trust Gus to quarterback your case.
Call 866-TRUST-GUS today. Principal Office, Houston, Texas.